Welcome to the 3D object tutorial, and to do that we're going to have to import a 3D object and then we'll try to manipulate it. So first we have to find a 3D object. So if you look on your left controller and then you click import, then here in this particular help 3 set of tutorials we have a 3D object. It's just a simple backpack, and this backpack is an FBX format. You can use OBS, FBX, maybe one or two other formats will work, but these are the primary ones we support. And there should be one complete file, not a series of separate files, so the texture mapping, etc. should be included inside the one file. And if you click that, you won't see a preview because we don't have previews for 3D objects. If we say accept, we're going to get that object. So I'll just remove this and get rid of that window. Now we have a 3D object. If you see, if I move my raycast onto that object, then we see the name. It's called backpack, and we can grab that. If we use the raycast from our right controller and grip, we can move that around. But of course 3D objects we might want to manipulate in other ways. So for example, here we see this is about distance. If we grip with both controllers and then move the controllers in and out, then we'll see we can move it closer to us and further away. So if we move it right up close, we can see if we push the controller through, it's just a virtual object, and we can sort of move around, see the back part and this, but we can't really see the other side or the front or the top and the bottom very easily. So if we just move it away, we'll see there are other controls here. But if I click here, we get a rotation, and that means we have 3 degrees of freedom of rotation. So if I use the grips together when I'm pointing at the object, I can actually rotate it, so I can turn it to look at the back. It's the front part on the body, and here you can see we can see the back with the zippers and for an extra little rucksack attached to the backpack. So we can move this in all sorts of ways. If we click again, we get zoom, and that means we can zoom it. It looks like it's getting closer, but in fact it's just getting larger. And if we push it away, it's actually in the same place but getting smaller. So if I click again, if I bring this closer, you'll see this is actually now a tiny object. Okay, so zoom is different from distance. If I click again, then we get the rotation, click again, and we get zooming in and out. So now this is a huge object compared to what it was before. So you can do all sorts of wonderful things with this, manipulating the objects. And of course you can have multiple objects in the scene and you can animate them. So take a look at the animation tutorial. We could import another one, and we only have one here, so we'll just import a second one. Just remove that window, and now we have an object. We can see the relative size here of this object, and if I click here, then we can rotate it and see the back part as well as the front part at the same time. So that's really interesting and important about animation. About the 3D objects and what you can do with them. So try it yourself, import a 3D object and see if you can manipulate it.